Well, good morning. Actually, it's afternoon. Good afternoon. I need to jump over here and cut the volume off. Yeah,
You on?
yeah, what's up?
Forget it.
Okay,
You on?
yeah, what's up? All right. Welcome, guys. Valley Fish, Scott Becker, Lumpy Dog Griffin. I catch tiny fish. That's pretty cool. I do too, and I love them. What's your favorite tiny fish, Tiny Fish? Toronto Aquatics. Hello, hello. And William Jansen. The movement in the finger is pretty good. I still got some swelling in the knuckle. Not the knuckle, whatever. That's a knuckle, I guess. That's swollen, if you can see it. Um, but I think it'll go down. Finger's actually moving pretty well. A little sore. Pebbling Creek, hello, hello. Phil Whiteley. Hi, Phil, you're a new subscriber. Welcome. Welcome aboard. Hi, Alice. Alice. Fish Kid Jake. Nice to see you. Odds 21 Fish Tanks. Good afternoon to you. Texas Fish. Hello, hello. Thomas C. Cody-san. Hey, Cody-san. Valley Fish, haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing down there just south of us? Alice is making tacos. Well, you're going to have to share, Alice. I recently received a series of emails, messages from uh, a subscriber in France. I'm trying to find his, here we are, Vincent RLT. He's on, the conversation with him is on the Create a Natural Aquarium Absolute Simplicity. It's a very unusual and very remarkable conversation. Toronto Aquatics just sent us $13.99. I'm feeling okay. Thank you so much. Actually, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm kind of stronger and stronger, apprehensive about getting sick. One of the things I've been doing, other than all the regular stuff, is I've been um, I've been eating the menthol cough suppressants, just popping them one right after the other. And it keeps my throat moist. And I understand that's an important thing to do in order to be able to get that virus, if it's in your throat, to go down into your stomach and not in your lungs. So that seems to be helping. At least I believe it is. Scenic Pets and Aquariums. Also, hello. Fish Kid Jake is here. Codyson sitting on Alice again. Me too, Codyson. Me too. Let's see, a couple of things I want to show you. One thing I want to show you, and then some other things I want to talk about. Take a look at this. I just acquired about 300 pounds of this stuff, and it is absolutely amazing. All sizes. I've got little pieces, even smaller than this, all the way up to a couple of 50-pounders. It is base rock, fossilized coral that has been exposed to the weather. It's not been submerged, or at least not in the last couple of million years. It was pushed up above the water level, and it's been worn by weather. Let me show you another one. This, I've had this stuff before. This is the nicest I've ever had. I'm going to be selling it. I will put some on Get Gills. It's going to run $5 a pound. But it is utterly remarkable. I've got pieces from 1 pound, as I said, all the way up to 50. So just amazing, amazing stuff. We've been cleaning it, trying to get some of the dirt out of it. But actually, if it sits out for a while, it'll clean up by itself. It'll dry out and get white. Anyway, thought you'd appreciate seeing that. Sam Dam, hello, hello. Punchy Paints is here. Hi, Punchy Paints. Daniken, hello, Daniken. Who else? Peplin, we got everybody else, I think. Thomas C. Hi, Thomas. The Vincent RLT. Take a look at that conversation. It's on the video, Create a Natural Aquarium, Absolute Simplicity. It's a fairly new video. It's only maybe a week or two old. A fairly long conversation. There are at least 5 back and forths. But Vincent has really nailed it. He's seen through what I'm about, and he's pierced to the marrow of the matter. What he understands after watching a number of my videos is that I'm dealing in both the macro and the micro. I'm dealing in the global aspects of fish keeping as a natural function of our relationship to the world, and dealing in the particulars of creating aquariums that are stable, solid, strong, and healthy. So there's a continuum, whether you call it an intellectual continuum, a practical continuum, whatever. But that's really what I'm about. Many, many years ago, I had a friend. We were both in our early 20s, and we were both advocates of collecting fish and reptiles. And we struggled with the question, why do we do this? What is it about it that pierces to our soul? And I've struggled with that question and sought answers to it ever since for the last 50, 55 years, 50 years anyway. Probably 55 years. Why do we do this? What is it about keeping animals in a small container? The video Return to Eden, one I did several months ago, is an attempt to deal with the global aspects. What is it that we're about as creatures on this earth? And what is it we're trying to achieve? Well, as Vincent has pierced the veil and nailed me down to the point where he's describing what he perceives as the foundation of my channel. It has given me a greater inspiration and excitement about what I'm doing. For the last couple of months, I've been struggling with this. I've been sick, so I haven't really had the energy or the wit to be able to do very much, and my channel has suffered accordingly. I'm down about 50% in every category. But as I've been getting better, getting healthier, and feeling stronger and a bit more vigorous, I've been looking for a focus. And Vincent has really given it to me. The focus is not different from what I've been doing, but it is far more intense. I'm at a place now where I'm ready to go up against the people who believe that maintaining a high-tech system is healthy for fish. It is not. It is unhealthy for fish. And the very simple reason is the minute you fail to maintain that system optimally, you create disease, you create an unhealthy environment, the fish get sick, and ultimately they die. High-tech systems are not stable by their very nature. And as such, they are not healthy by their very nature. They're simply a way for people to be able to spend large amounts of money on a hobby that is more show than soul. Okay, I'm going to back up because I've missed a whole bunch of comments. Let's see if I can get back to where we were and then go forward. Kettler's talking about enlightenment. Do you still have bumblebee gobies? Jody says, yes, I do. Actually, I've not sold any. I've only been open yesterday for 3 hours, and I got deluged by a bunch of adolescents who insisted on swarming the place. So I threw them all out, told them they couldn't come back for a month. Freaked me out. I mean, here we are trying to maintain distance, trying to be careful, and this mob of teenagers comes storming in, the back door, front door, and through the roof, trying to take over the place. It is what is wrong with our whole approach to maintaining distance. We've got wild animals in our midst, shedding virus every step they take, creating disease in their wake, who really don't give a care at all. Well, I chewed them out and threw them out for all the good it did. All right, we're moving forward here. $29 watching, 14 likes. That's all right. I'll get back down there in a minute. Ah, Danny Ken, hello, hello. What is this? Gino Josie. Hi, Gino. Nice to see you. Gino about burned my ears off last week with question after question after question after question after question. And I tried to do answer after answer after answer after answer after answer. It was good. I appreciate it, Gino. I appreciate the interest. Finally, I said, listen, Gino, you need to watch the videos. I've answered all of those questions in my videos. And I believe Gino did. And is back today saying hello. Happy to see you. Sand Creek Aquatics. Talking to Scott Backer about something. Let's see, if possible, this is Phil Whiteley. How do you keep saltwater species in tap water that's not overly soft when setting up a dirt tank? That's a very prescient question, Phil. Let me answer it this way. Many of the so-called or supposed saltwater species are from the Amazon. Now, half of the year, the Amazon is soft acid water. It's essentially rainwater. During the monsoons, the water gets very soft and pretty acidic because it goes up into the forests and it leaches out tannins from the leaves and from the soil. In the dry season, that water level goes down. And as it does and returns to the channels in the river, the water becomes harder and harder, and the pH goes up. So the truth is that saltwater species, that is fish like angels, neons, cardinals, all of the Amazon River species, discus, they spend as much time living in soft acid water as they do living in hard alkaline water. Now, to further clarify the situation, if you're buying fish that have been raised in Florida, which is the case with many of the tetras, virtually all angels that the regional wholesalers are carrying. Those fish have all been raised in very hard, very alkaline water for generations. And by generations, I mean 30 to 50 years or more. Farmers started raising in quantity back in the 50s. Earlier than that, but in great quantities in the 50s. And they raised them in dirted ponds. They dug out a pond down to the clay, let it fill with natural groundwater, threw their fish in with a food supply, and 3 months later began harvesting them. That is still true today with many Florida farmers. Those fish, which includes fish such as discus and especially angels, have been raised in hard alkaline water for so many generations that the angels in particular will die even if they are gradually acclimated to soft acid water. They won't survive it. So, part of the answer to your question is that many of the saltwater species are really not saltwater species for a variety of reasons. Now, there are saltwater species, such as the licorice gouramis, fish that come out of Borneo, fish that are living in water that has a pH of 3 to 5. Those fish cannot be kept in hard alkaline water. They will not survive. I keep those fish. I keep them in water that goes through my RO system. I do not do dirted tanks with them, but I do maintain the mulm by putting a deep sand bed in the tank so that the mulm goes down into the tank and creates a rich environment. I have great plant growth. My fish are breeding. I have right now some clown killies in soft acid water that are doing extremely well. So, kind of a complex answer to your question, Phil. I hope that helps. Kaylor's saying he loves that video. It's a great video. I do too. It just, I've said that, told that story a dozen times in earlier videos. And I'm finding myself more and more just trying to say the same thing and say it more clearly, more strongly, more vigorously, with greater focus. And I think that's where I'm going for a while. There's a conversation I'm missing out on here. Scott Backer is talking to Sand Creek, saying been playing it since Sunday afternoon. Let me back up and see if I can figure out what these guys are talking about. You figure that came out, Sand Creek said. Backing up. Oh. Kaylor's talking about enlightenment. I did that. Jody asking about bumblebees. I don't know. Joaquindire, greetings from Argentina. Nice to have you with us. Big Tank Hank. Hey, Big Tank. Well, I don't know. I can't find it. It's beyond my ken. Let's see. Lots of hellos. Nathan, hi. Oh, we're dropping off and coming back on. That was nice that we came back on. Whew. Chris Biggs is here. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle figuring out quite where to go, but the further I've gotten further down the road, the more I've realized that I really need to tell my story, and I really need to get my case made with greater strength and vigor. So thank you so much, Chris, for the encouragement. I do deeply appreciate it. Kay Halliday, not about the numbers, about sharing a message. Couldn't agree more, Kay. It's also about the numbers. But I agree. Dropped off again. There we go. We're back. Look at this. I just got 200 or 300 pounds of this stuff. It's a native rock here in Florida. It's actually fossilized coral that has been weather worn. And I've got a mess of it. I'm going to start selling it on Get Gills, and I'll probably go to eBay or somewhere to sell more of it because I got quite a lot. Big pieces too. Got some that are up to Funk is here. Ginger Graves is here. Ginger, I'm going to be sending out your order in the next day or two. I just caught up with it on Friday, and I'll get it out to you as quickly as I can. Aquafunk, nice to see you. Ginger has an unboxing today. Could I use old mulm for tanks as the dirt to start a new tank? Kay Holiday. Good question, Kay. Yes, absolutely. What I would do is I would add some soil to it, give it a little more texture. Peat moss would be good, potting soil, anything to give it a little more texture. But absolutely, old mulm is a perfect substrate for dirted tank. Just give it a little more body by adding something a little heavier to it that'll keep it down so that when you put sand on top of it, it'll be a little thick and it won't rise up above the sand as you put it in. Thank you, Chris. Vincent is here. Ha! We need to back it up. About substrate depth. I can have only small aquariums, so I'd like to save some space with a sloped ground. 1 inch sand in front, 3/4 inches at back. Would this be enough, roughly half the bottom with thick layer, for full cycle, or since water tends to be horizontal, it won't work? Yeah, it'll work fine, Vincent. You can even do it level. In small tanks, do a and coming back. I've seen that happen 3 times. Fortunately, it's coming back. Yeah, not a problem. The key thing is You want that sand deep enough that the substrate is that the soil is not going to migrate up through it. So if you have a very thin layer of soil in a little tiny 1-gallon tank and something 4 times thicker, like a 1/4 inch to 1 inch, a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches or so, you won't have a problem with it and it'll work just fine. Let's see. Sand Creek's asking if Ginger got her art. That's some gorgeous stuff you're collecting, Ginger. Just really, really impressive. Rowan J. Could you use Old Mom? We did that. Good day, Mr. B. Storm Riders here. Hello, hello. I think I got to the bottom. I may have missed some stuff coming down. If I have, if I've missed a question, please ask it again. I'll try to catch it. Cody's son says, Toronto, my suggestion would be to hang out and participate in chat and people will go check out your channel. Yeah, absolutely. I do that routinely. I think most everybody here does the same thing. Sister Lockmo is here. Welcome, welcome. Being closed these last couple of weeks has given me a bit of a different take on my shop, partly because I'm enjoying it more. I'm treating it more like a fish room and less like a retail business. I come in almost every day for a couple of hours and putter around, taking care of things that are broken, upgrading where I can. I got a big order of plants in this past week, so I've been able to plant out a bunch of my tanks, and that's been a lot of fun. One of the things I've been able to do is feel comfortable selling everything I've got. I mean, there are some fish I just really enjoy having, but I sell them with the attitude that somebody else is going to enjoy them. And when they die, it won't be on me. You know, the reality is these are all living critters that, while some may live 10 years, most live a year or less, particularly the little tiny stuff. If you're fortunate enough to get it to spawn, then you can extend that. But I like getting things out to people so that they can enjoy having them, particularly fish that I really enjoy having. It's a matter of kind of sharing the joy. Alice wants to know if I'm hiring. You get here, baby, and I'll hire you. How's that? Go for it, Alice. Have you moved yet, by the way? Make sure when you do that you send me your new address so I can keep you on my mailing list. Anyone else who would like stickers? Anyone else who would like stickers? Put your email address, your mailing, your snail mail address on my Facebook message. Send it to me as a Facebook message, and I'll be happy to send some of these to you. Moving in June, July. Scenic pets. Had a rain gutter on back, punch holes in the bottom. Saving rainwater. I love it. Sister Lockman once tried to set up a small aquaponic, worked with an avocado seed, but couldn't get the bell siphon to work. Cichlid 23. Kay wants to know if anyone's tried to grow veggies aquaponically in their tanks. Actually, I have not. One of the things that I haven't done. But I know how to do it, and I really ought to. Particularly lettuce. I love lettuce. And I got so many animals that like it. I should do that. The problem, though, is that it blocks the light from getting down into the tank, which makes it difficult to get light to the plants. Lumpy Dog, your thoughts on gradually adding sand to a gravel substrate tank over time. Add sand until 4-inch depth is achieved. Yeah, absolutely. If you add sand to gravel, the sand sifts down into gravel and in effect packs it, making it the consistency of sand. So it works real well, and 4 inches is a perfectly adequate depth. If you've had gravel in the tank for a long time and have not cleaned it regularly, then you've got a lot of mold in that gravel. Even if you have cleaned it regularly, you've got a lot of bacteria living on that gravel. So by putting sand in, you get the gravel down into an anaerobic layer where it's going to be able to break down waste and where the root plants are going to be able to take up nutrition. Important fact, wherever you have plants growing well in gravel, it's because they've packed a little area so tight that the water can't flow through quickly enough to get oxygen down to it. So they've created an anaerobic layer. Adding sand, however, amplifies that process and gives you exactly what dirted tank. Keep in mind that the dirt you put in a dirted tank nutritionally lasts only for about a year. Now I add some elements to my substrate, such as iron oxide, that take longer to break down. So I've got a higher level of iron in my substrate than is normal, and it'll last 2, maybe 3 years, rarely beyond that. In that amount of time, however, if you're maintaining the environment, the total environment, then all of the waste created by plant leaves dying, fish waste, and so forth. I even, if a fish dies in the tank, I press it down into the sand. I don't take it out. I push it down deeply enough that it's not going to foul the water, but will continue to provide nutrition to that substrate. Good, a really good little idea that you might adopt. Now, I've not done that with very large fish. That would be problematic, but certainly with little fish, you can do it. In any case, the mulm and the detritus, the waste that goes down into that takes a year or more to fully decompose and to enrich that anaerobic substrate. So it's a very slow and a very gradual process. But if you'll stick with virtually permanently, particularly if you keep it covered so that you don't get much evaporation. That's a real key, because with evaporation and adding new water, if you're adding tap water, hard alkaline water, you're gradually increasing the hardness, which creates its own problems. Whereas if you're adding RO water, you're maintaining the balance and maintaining a healthier environment. I maintain pretty tight covers on my tanks that are show tanks, such that I get very little evaporation. That allows the water to continue to cycle and circulate in the tank, and it provides a pretty permanent permanent condition. That was an answer to Lumpy Dog. I got a little off track there, sorry. Peplin says he got all the subs just being in chats. That's really interesting. Yeah, people get to know you that way. It's one of the things that's nice about the chats. It's a way to get to know people. It's harder to do that when you're simply reading comments, but it does happen. I mean, I got a handle on some of you guys. And some of you have just become such great friends. I'm just deeply appreciative of your involvement and support. Have you heard of black ottos, Hisanotus? No, I don't believe I have. I'll have to keep an eye open, see if they come in. I just bought about 100 ottos. Didn't notice them on the list, or I would have gotten some. Rohan, Pothos. Pothos is interesting. I had a rack with pothos that was about 3 to 4 years old. It completely took over the tank and was growing at such a clip that I finally wound up getting rid of it. It was great fun and it was beautiful, but it literally consumed the tanks, which doesn't work real well in a retail shop because you can't get in there and do much. In a hobby room, it's ideal. And the more it grows, the more it fills the tank with roots, the better the quality of that water is, and the more fish you can raise in it. I love pothos. It's a great, great plant, easy as pie to grow and just really very effective. Let's see. Melvin. Hello, Melvin. Hi, bikers and pythons. One of my local customers. Happy to see you. How's your website coming? I signed up the other day, yesterday. So I'm one of your patrons. Has anyone here tried to go veggies? We did that. Well, I did go back some, didn't I? I'm back to Alice's looking for a job. Punchy Paints Paints Pam. Spam? Pam. Oh dear. Kaler's Aquatic he does have dancers. Ugh. Well, now, Spanish dancers. I do have Spanish dancers in my saltwater tanks. I do indeed. Storm is here. Hello, Storm. Cichlage 23. I'm driven. Thought I subbed you years ago. Pepling Creek Aquatics. Set up a small aquaponic. We did that. We did Alice's Move. I jumped 15 ahead. Does EcoComplete have ammonia? Excellent question. The question is, does it create ammonia? And the answer is, yes, it does. EcoComplete, along with any of the other soil substitutes, need to be treated the same way any soil is treated. It needs to be capped with at least 2 inches of sand. That amplifies its strength and its effectiveness. It keeps the nutrition that it provides down in the substrate and not in the water column. So any of the soils, any of the synthetic soils, cap them with 2 inches of sand. You will not get algae growth. You will be able to keep the nutrition separate from the water column. You're not going to have all of the problems that ensue with having a too rich environment in the water. Now, the suppliers don't recommend doing that. I do. I very much recommend it because it's appropriate and responsible to do it. If you like the color, find a very tiny washed gravel that you can use. Maybe layer just the top, 1/4 to 1/2 inch with that gravel. But sand cap all soil and soil substitutes at least 2 inches. Peplin saying you put a 38-second video up to have content. Excellent. Let's see, there was something I missed back here. Rohan's agreeing he added a few dead fish in the substrate. It is a great tip, and it is one that really does help. Toronto is getting back to work. Toronto just donated another $2.79. Love you, Toronto. Thank you so very, very much. You're keeping me going. Scott Backer's wife grows zucchini in a 1 or 2 gallon planter. Sand Creek Aquatics. Will roti water go acidic after setting for a period of time? Not necessarily. Not unless there's biological activity. With biological activity, it will go acidic because there are no carbonates in it. Carbonates are an absolute requirement for maintaining a stable pH. So RODI water, it's used primarily in salt water in order to maintain the hardness level so that it's not increased by adding more hardness to it. Any news about the air conditioning? Well, it's kind of all on hold right now. I've put in a couple of applications for some emergency funding. If that comes through, I'll get my rent covered and my utilities. And I think at that point, the landlord will be willing to do something for me. I'm going to probably recommend a 50-50 split and see if they'll go for that. Need a lot of the growing medium because the zucchini plants get so big, they need to root down so as not to fall over. Tomatoes sound reasonable, Sister Lockmo says. Storm Rider says they want some of your stickers. But send your address. Put your mailing address on my Facebook page, please, in the message column. What would you like to culture microworms with? The only thing that you really need is my mind just went absolutely blank. Yeast. There's a little bit of yeast in fish oats as it breaks down, but you need to sprinkle yeast. You don't need much. Just sprinkle a small amount of yeast on the top and it'll create more yeast. That's really what they eat. Cichlid 23. I didn't. I knew someone who's really good at fish keeping and a hard worker. Would you hire them? Alice is saying, maybe. I'm not looking for anyone right now because I'm not open. But I do need, I need a basic maintenance person. I've got a really good salesperson, but she's not good at basic maintenance. I need somebody to do a lot of the basic stuff that needs doing. Let's see, I think I went back far enough. City Pets and Aquariums says no. Don't know what they're referring to. If they're referring to, I catch tiny fishes, does EcoComplete have ammonia? It does not have ammonia, but it certainly can create ammonia because it contains enough nutritional matter to break down in the water column. That's why it needs to be capped. How we doing time-wise? We got about 10 minutes. Let's see, I need to check out what's happening here. Oh, somebody posted, or did I do that? Vince's comments. I guess I did that. Let's see, I want to look. We got 24, 37 watching. Kaylor is a number one fan. I'm your number one fan too, Kaylor. Thank you so much for the $9.99. I do appreciate it very much. You guys are keeping me afloat this month. Just really appreciate it. Alice just posted my Facebook page, so you can get on there and leave your address, and I'll be sure to send you some stickers, Father Fish stickers. Put the roots in the sand, they'll find their way to the soil. Absolutely. You don't have to bury those plants deep at all. Phil asked the question, do the roots need to be touching the soil? No, they do not. Just get them deep enough that the crown is peeking up above the layer of the sand. You don't want to bury the crown in most plants. You know what the crown is. The crown is the section of plant that the roots are attached to. So you get the roots down in there, and that little section that the roots are attached to, bury that about halfway. So be a little delicate with it. Did I send the letter yet? Alice says. No, Alice, I have not. I'm terribly sorry. I need to sit down and do it. I've been trying to get applications off this week. It's my use. Excuses. I've been doing applications for money all week and trying to research all that stuff. So I haven't sat down with all those papers. You know what I think is going to take hours will probably take minutes. I need to just get my butt in here and do it. It's been going on far too long. I promised these far too long ago. I need to get them done and get them out. So Alice, nail me to the wall if I don't get them out this week. So you can top off a planted tank with RO water. Yes, absolutely. You can do that. Not a problem at all. Just you're topping off, not replacing. Do not replace with RO water. Replace with your normal well water, tap water, whatever it is you're using. And Cichlids 23 is throwing bacon on the skillet. I'm for that. Kay Holiday says, some of my tanks don't even have filters or heaters. Yeah, I agree. If you can get away without a heater, sometimes you can. It depends on what your house or fish room environment is. If you're able to keep it up above 70, you're probably going to be okay. I think we're hitting bottom here. Thank you again, Kaylor. Go, Alice. Bye, tiny fish. We got 5 minutes. We'll give it 5 more minutes. Sister Lilo's birthday is 2 days after Easter. Well, that's this year. That must change routinely for you. I know the perfect person to do maintenance for you, says Alice. Well, send him over. I'll be happy to talk. Fart like me around here. I've had 2 old farts. 3, 4, 5 have tried to come in and work with me. 2 of them I threw out because they decided to run the shop the way they wanted it run instead of the way I wanted it run. One of them decided it didn't make any sense for him to come in here since all he could do is exactly what I was doing. Another one who had owned a shop wanted to come in only if I could pay him more than I really could afford. Sand dam, what happens if you don't cap the dirt with 2 inches of sand and you just do like a small layer on top? You run the possibility of the soil migrating up through the sand and getting into the water column. The 2 inches prevents that. The dirt, let me see if I can get back over here. The dirt will migrate up because there are animals living right at this level, right at the anaerobic layer, at the level. They go down and come up, down and come up. And they're moving soil as they're doing it. And that soil will rise up. Now, if you got 2 inches, it's not going to rise up more than half an inch, maybe an inch. But if all you've got is an inch, then you got soil right at the top of that sand. And if it begins migrating into the tank, you've defeated the purpose of having the sand bed, which is to keep that soil separate from the water column. So that's why. Alice says I already know the person. Okay. Who? Can I use a little brown bread with yeast for microrealm culture? It was raining often. And the oats culture called fungus twice. Yeah, you can do that. If it probably does not have active yeast in it though, because the yeast has been killed by the heat used to bake it. Bread, however, is a pretty good filler for a microrealm culture. Buy a little tiny package. So you're gonna whisper it. Now, how are you gonna do that? A little tiny package of yeast and just sprinkle a little bit on it. There's really no substitute. Hum. Sister Lockman says, go for it, Alice. This isn't somebody you've already hired, is it? You know, whispering. Just oh, you funny girl. Funny girl. Well, tell him to come in and talk to me and tell him that you sent him. Or have him call me because I'm not here very much. The ear didn't show up, Sister Lagmo says. We are out of time, guys. Love you all so very much. Great to be with you. Wonderful to spend this hour with such fabulous friends. I thoroughly enjoy and feel enriched by your presence. Signing off in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I see Alice just posted on Facebook. Bye-bye, everybody. See you on Wednesday at 3. I should have a video or two coming out in the meantime. Bye for now. Sister Lockmo's on 6. 5, 4, 3, 2. Bye, Sister Lockmo. Love you all. I will stream Wednesday. Yes, indeed, at 3 o'clock. Bye for now.